Mourning, Putin's soldiers' Die-Ukrainian flag flies. Ukraine's claim of progress in the war has been proven by a number of foreign media. Reuters reported how blue and yellow Ukrainian flags flew over destroyed grocery stores, and Russian soldiers lay dead on the streets of villages captured in Kyiv Wednesday, the 14th of June 2023. This happened in Neskuchne, which journalists reached for independent confirmation. Neskuchne itself is between Zaporizhzhia and Donetsk in southeastern and eastern Ukraine. The report stated that not a single resident was found, even though the area was initially occupied by hundreds of people. But Ukrainian troops were seen driving through muddy roads in tanks and pickup trucks. 3 hours ago, Russian troops were still here, said Artem, a member of Ukraine's territorial defense unit, who did not give his last name, quoted Wednesday, the 14th of June 2023. "We chased them out of Neskuchne. Glory to Ukraine," he added. In the same location, there were also 3 dead Russian soldiers lying on the road, including one whose body was blown away by an abandoned Russian military vehicle. Artem said advancing Ukrainian troops had watched from drones how other Russian soldiers tried to evacuate bodies, only to throw them away and flee. It was the first independent confirmation of Ukraine's advance in the area, roughly 90 kilometers southwest of the city of Donetsk, one of several axes along which it is trying to break through Russian lines, Reuters wrote. Russia and Ukraine's war has been ongoing since February 2022. More than 15 months since Russian President Vladimir Putin sent troops into Ukraine, Moscow and Kyiv troops are still fighting on a 1,000 kilometers, 600-mile front, albeit far from the capital Kyiv. Previously, Russian forces tried and failed to take Kyiv in the hours and days after the invasion began on February 1st. The fighting itself retreated to the region of eastern Ukraine, which at the end of 2022, Russia annexed in a referendum. Ukraine itself has maintained a defensive strategy over the past 7 months in which Russia has shown progress. However, President Volodymyr Zelensky last weekend confirmed that the counterattack had been intensified for a week. After a week of providing little information, Ukraine said on Monday that it had so far recaptured 7 settlements. Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said troops had advanced up to 6.5 kilometers, 4 miles, and captured 90 square km, 35 square miles of land along a 100 kilometers, 60-mile stretch of the southern front. Putin, in a televised appearance Tuesday evening, said his troops were not defeated. Ukraine, he argued, instead suffered a disaster in which the victims fell 10 times more than Russia. He said this after Russia carried out dozens of missile attacks on Zelensky's hometown, Kryvyi Rih. Video footage was also shown by the Russian Ministry of Defense, where its troops confiscated German tanks, Leopards, and U.S. fighting vehicles, Bradley. Their losses are of a level that can be described as catastrophic, Putin said at a meeting in the Kremlin with Russians and bloggers covering the conflict, quoted by AFP. "We had 10 times fewer losses than the Ukrainian armed forces," he added, citing a ratio that could not be independently confirmed. He also made a new threat. Putin has vowed to withdraw Russia from the Black Sea grain deal, which is due to expire on July 17th if the Kremlin does not extend it. The agreement was previously designed to ease a global food crisis exacerbated by the Russian invasion. It is known that Russia and Ukraine are both major agricultural exporters, especially to Europe and Africa. "We are thinking about getting out of this grain deal now," Putin threatened. "Unfortunately, we are once again being cheated. Nothing is being done in terms of liberalizing our grain supplies to foreign markets," he threatened. Meanwhile, in Washington, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg met the President of the United States, U.S. Joe Biden. He said Western support made a real difference to the war. "It's still early days," Stoltenberg said, "but what we know is that the more land Ukraine can free up, the stronger their hand will be at the negotiating table," he added. Leaked U.S. intelligence documents also estimate Russia has suffered losses several times greater than Ukraine. Where the worst casualties have come is in recent months. In a UN update earlier this month, at least 8,000 civilians died due to the war between Russia and Ukraine. However, it is believed that this figure could increase further. Chechen Muslim soldiers go down the mountain amid news of Russia's defeat. The Kremlin Defense Ministry claimed to have signed a contract with the Akhmet Group of the Chechen Special Forces. Later, this group will replace the Russian mercenaries, the Wagner Group. A Reuters report said the signing came a day after the head of the Wagner mercenary group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, refused to extend a cooperation contract with the Kremlin. The signing follows an order that all volunteer units must sign contracts by July 1st, under which they will come under the control of Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. In return, volunteer fighters would receive the same benefits and protection as regular troops. This includes support for them and their families if they are injured or killed. Prigozhin had previously waged a feud with the Russian Ministry of Defense and accused it of failing to provide adequate ammunition supplies to Wagner's mercenaries in Ukraine. He said on Sunday he would refuse to sign a contract extension because Shoigu could not manage the military formation well. The Akhmet paramilitary group is often referred to as the private army of Ramzan Kadyrov, the leader of Russia's Chechnya region. Unlike Prigozhin, Kadyrov refrained from criticizing the defense ministry. Commander Akhmet Abtialadinov, who took part in signing the contract, said the unit had prepared and sent tens of thousands of volunteers to Ukraine in the past 15 months. Moscow said on Friday that Akhmet's forces launched an offensive near the town of Mariinka in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region. For information, the Chechen Republic, or Chechnya, is one of the regions in Russia where the majority of people adhere to Islam. The troops were generally filled with Muslim soldiers. Breaking: Russia attacked. Drone explodes in Voronezh. A drone reportedly hit a residential building in the city of Voronezh, southern Russia, Friday, the 6th of September 2023. This incident injured 2 people. A drone crashed on Belinsky Street in Voronezh, said the region's governor, Alexander Gusev, via telegram, published by AFP. Voronezh is about 200 kilometers, 124 miles from the Ukrainian border near Kursk and Belgorod. Both are also areas that often receive attacks from Ukraine. Meanwhile, the drone explosion came amid increasing Ukrainian counterattacks against Russian troops.